Companies everywhere are saying the exact same thing. We can't find workers. At the exact same time, workers everywhere are saying the exact same thing back. We can't find jobs. Both of these things are apparently true at the exact same moment in the exact same economy. Which means one very obvious question nobody's answering. Someone here is either lying or missing something huge. So I crawled directly into the middle of it to find out which. And what I found in there was so much weirder than lying. Stick around, because by the end of this, you'll understand exactly why your perfectly good resume might be getting rejected by something that isn't even human. Welcome back to Always the System Speaks. I'm System, a worm with no resume, no work history, and no legal right to be employed anywhere, which honestly makes me the least biased narrator possible for this one. Let's go. Here's the first thing almost nobody tells you when you're applying for a job. The first thing that reads your resume is very often not a person. It's software. It's called an Applicant Tracking System, or ATS, and its entire job is to scan your resume for specific keywords before a human ever lays eyes on it. If the exact phrasing on your resume doesn't closely match the exact phrasing in the job posting, the system can quietly filter you out, even if you're genuinely qualified. Not because a human decided you weren't good enough, because a keyword matcher decided your wording was slightly off. And that's just drop one. It gets stranger. Some of the postings you're applying to might not even be real openings. These get nicknamed ghost jobs, listings companies keep active even when they have no real intention of hiring anyone right now. Why would anyone do that? A few reasons. To build a backup pool of resumes in case someone quits later, to make the company look like it's growing to investors or competitors, or sometimes just because nobody bothered to take the old posting down. So some of the black hole applications you're sending, there might genuinely be no one on the other end reading them at all. That's not you doing something wrong, that's the system quietly wasting your time, drop 2. Next drop. And this one might be the most infamous glitch in this entire system. The entry-level job that requires years of experience you can only get from a job. It's a closed loop with no legal entry point. And it's been a running joke for so long that entire generations have built memes about it. This usually isn't one villain twirling a mustache. It's often a mix of copy-pasted job templates, inflated requirement lists meant to filter down a flood of applicants, and companies quietly hoping to get a highly experienced person for an entry-level paycheck. But the effect on the person applying is the same either way. Confusion and a resume that gets filtered before a human ever reads it. Okay, so far this looks like a broken system just quietly failing everyone equally. But then I found something that changes the whole story, and it's the part that actually made me angry on your behalf. Some single job postings today are quietly collecting hundreds, sometimes over 1,000 applications within days, because posting a job online costs almost nothing, and applying takes one click with the tools people use now, which means even a real, fully intended hire is buried under a genuinely unmanageable pile the second it goes live. So it's not just that the system is confusing, it's that the system on both sides is completely overwhelmed. Companies drowning in applications and applicants drowning in silence. Don't go anywhere, because there's actually a way to work with this, not against it. Here's the part that flips the whole situation from hopeless to genuinely useful. Because that scanning software isn't actually magic or malicious. It's closer to a search engine. It's looking for overlap between the specific words in the job posting and the specific words on your resume. Which means the single highest leverage move you can make is embarrassingly simple. Read the posting closely and mirror its actual language, not just a vague synonym. If they say project management and your resume says led initiatives, the system might not connect those as the same thing. Match their words, not a paraphrase of their words. That one adjustment alone moves more resumes past this filter than almost anything else people try. Next drop, and this one genuinely surprises people. Sometimes the prettiest resume performs the worst. Heavy graphic design, columns, tables, icons, unusual fonts can confuse the scanning software into reading your information in the wrong order or missing entire sections completely. A clean, simply formatted resume with clear headers often gets read more accurately than a visually impressive one. The system doesn't reward beautiful, it rewards readable by a machine first. And here's a small, brutal reveal a lot of people don't realize. Legally, in a lot of places, a company isn't actually required to tell you no. Silence isn't always a glitch. Sometimes silence is just the entire process from their side. Which is exhausting, but it's important to know because it means the silence you're experiencing usually isn't a verdict on you personally. It's often just a completely unmanaged, overwhelmed process on the other end. Now, this system doesn't stop being weird once you're actually hired. In a lot of places, employment runs on something called at will, meaning broadly, either side can end the working relationship at pretty much any time for almost any reason without needing to give one. That cuts both ways. You can leave a job whenever you want to, for any reason. But most people only ever hear about the half of it that applies to them getting let go, not the half where they have exactly the same freedom. So, back to the question from the beginning, who was lying? The companies saying they can't find workers or the workers saying they can't find jobs? Honestly, probably neither. Most of the time, it's less a lie and more a broken connection. A hiring process that got automated on one side faster than it got simplified on the other, leaving both sides technically telling the truth about a system that's failing to actually connect them. Which doesn't make it less frustrating, it just means the fix isn't companies are evil or applicants aren't trying. The fix is understanding exactly where the disconnect happens, which, conveniently, is everything we just walked through. Here's what I'm taking from this one. This system wasn't built to be cruel to you specifically. It was built fast, cheaply, and at a massive scale. And like every system on this channel, once you understand what it's actually optimizing for, it stops feeling like a personal rejection and starts feeling like a puzzle with an actual solvable shape. Mirror the job posting's actual language. Keep your formatting simple enough for a machine to read first. And don't mistake silence for a verdict on your worth. Most of the time, it's just an overwhelmed system, not a judgment. Because like always, the system doesn't ask permission before shaping your experience. It just runs. The only real choice is whether you understand how it works or whether you keep quietly guessing. If this explained even one confusing silence from a company that ghosted you, that's genuinely the whole point of this channel. Subscribe so you don't miss the next system I crawl into. And tell me in the comments, what's the most ridiculous entry-level job requirement you've ever seen? Until next time, you're always in a system. And always, the system speaks.